want to call yourself stupid. You're the most stupid lot I've ever seen. Your greed was so high that you missed the whole bowl and it's been right in front of you. And all I've done, I've used the same thing. No more. Anybody who wants to bring a bullet to shoot themselves for a stupidity bullet, not to kill yourself, but to shoot yourself with a stupidity bullet, bring it with you on Thursday. I'll let you shoot yourself. All the ones who call us a fraud, we tag them murderers because from now we know who they are because they're so stupid they never saw the reality was sitting in front of them. Maybe we have to create a stupid Gans bullet. That you receive bit of energy, elevates you to a bit higher, that you come out of the stupidity of greed of the matter state. What you've done, exactly the copy of what we had from the previous talk. But because you don't see the similarity, you think there is something wrong. What does it do? No difference. This, what you've done in your container, is the cycle of life. That's how life started on this planet. When you create a dynamic condition like this, you have, in the process of having the water and everything else, amino acid was attracted on the upper layer with the salt and the carbon connected with the copper, created the position of a stagnation at the bottom of the sea, the beginning of life. There was no Adam and there were no Eve. The Adam is the air and the Eve is the physical structure of the earth. And the child of it is human race with the shame of it. Next question. Thank you very much for bringing this up.
Yes, I'm sorry, I have one more question as well. Now, you said that you will tell us something on Thursday about the old ones. I actually painted the Gantt on, like you said. I believe it was the 76th Knowledge Seeker workshop to paint it on, so I did that. Now, do I need to go and take that paint off? Or
no, if it's not connecting your lines, no. If it's not connecting your links together, no. Even if you have Gantt, if you have made a Gantt, which is like a paste on your coils, you don't want to burn it the way we do it with the fire, just make a dilution and dilute it. And just literally shake it in the dilution. That the ring holds on to what it needs according to its gravitational magnetic field strength.
Great.
I showed you there was a reason. Let me explain to you. There was a reason last week or the week before we introduced the firing method. You will understand in the next 72 hours. There was a reason we created a gap that a lot of people were making things in one way, and the people in the third world nation who had access, they said we cannot get caustic. How can we do? We are falling behind. People who could not have access to caustic to make the coils, or could not come up with a way to do it. The firing was to bring balance to those who do not have access to the Western mold and the caustic material. You had to be equal. We play the game like this. You're too greedy. We buy the time that everybody catches up in the same way. Because the third world nation, you try to find a caustic in Africa, impossible. But fire is very easy. Oh yes, you're going to find it. You have to understand, when we asked the South University of Sierra Leone to make the first CO2, it took them 3 weeks nearly. In the height of the Ebola and E. coli, all the problem in Sierra Leone, because they had to send somebody to the capital to find copper, to be able to nanocode. And this is in the university with the scientists, professors in the university. We had to wait 2 weeks more or less for somebody to go to get it, because they don't have it. This time, knowledge will be equal. Some of the ones who are rich, they think, oh, it's a fraud. Now they understand that it's stupid, but that's their problem. You make them a gun very soon. God of conscience and equality and justice. Pardon? Sierra Leone, yes. North Africa.
Excuse me, Mr. Kesh.
Yes.
We were supposed to show the Chinese, they had some questions and so on.
Okay. No
International.
problem.
But now
We
we've
go
got.
from Americans to the Chinese now. We have 2 Americans, let's have some Chinese.
Yeah, we can do that. Now we were supposed to start the health workshop about.
We are teaching part of the health workshop. We're seeing with a man in a wheelchair or with a man with a back problem.
Yes, absolutely.
We carry on through. Maybe this is the way we got to start teaching.
Okay, then that's fine.
Can I ask one more thing, Mr. Kesh?
Pardon?
I'm sorry, can I ask one more thing? As soon
Yes.
as I've seen the proper results, I'd like to start distributing these to people other than family. What am I allowed to use and what am I not allowed to use? Like the words MAGRAV, is that something that you would like me to use, not like me to use in distributing?
You cannot use MAGRAV. MAGRAV or whatever you want to use, you have to see people understand the knowledge. The word MAGRAV is registered in the name of the Keshe Foundation. I own it personally. It's not a copyrighted, it's registered. We'll release a number of registered names, hopefully on Thursday. One of them is GANS, one of them is MAGRAV. We have registered it to start abuse because it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to all of you. This way we protect you. So we don't allow people to abuse it, but we control it. The word MAGRAV is a registered name. We applied for it and it's gone through and we release it. Hopefully we can release it by Thursday morning. We release some 20 registered names on Thursday. We have protected the foundation fully.
And if people are registered either distributor or manufacturer, then they'd be able to use those names, and that would be the difference.
We give, this is the job of Arman to see into with the new management which we wrote in with Sylvester and the Italian director of the management of the manufacturing. We have registered, we applied and registered 20 names to protect. We did not release it, but I know now that it's done, we can announce it.
So if people want to be a manufacturer, for example, they can apply.
They apply for Keshe Foundation manufacturers.
Yeah, they can go to support.
It's a registered name, is registered, so registration has been applied for it. So we have already covered it. The Keshe Foundation distributors, when they carry the writing, means they are part of the Keshe Foundation. And we copyrighted the logos and the names that it cannot be done. Anybody tries to copy or even register Mehran Tawakkali Keshe, now is registered as a copyright. I own the right to it. So you cannot even write my name unless you have a permission from me. This stops all the abuse and all the rubbish we've seen is put on the internet by enemies of the foundation by one man. Even if you want to use my name, it's copyrighted. Now I can tell you. You try game, we close, we literally dismantle you by yourself.
So just to let people know, they can go to the Keshe Foundation site.
On Thursday, sometime this week, we will release the registered number names. MAGRAV is one of them. GANS is one of them. Mehran Tawakkali Keshe is one of them. Empty Keshe is one of them. Keshe distributors is one of them. Keshe manufacturing distributors is one of them. And there's a number of these things we protected. The Spaceship Institute has been registered. It's all been done by lawyers. We're protecting it heavily. We put the application in. It's all been done. So in the time to come, we'll see. Spaceship Institute is a registered name. Keshe Foundation is a registered name. We stop all this nonsense. Any other question?
Well, we could show the questions from the Chinese folks. Maybe we should give them some time. That was the original idea of this workshop.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me do a screen share on that.
By the way, Cash Foundation logo with the 6 circles, has been registered. Belongs to the foundation. No copyright. People can't pay their bills. We take action to own what we sell. Oh, we don't forget, but we put it in. It's been registered. It's been applied for registration. We'll protect it. We'll fight for it in every corner. 360,000 bill is not being paid by the thieves. They have to pay somewhere. And the worst thing is, the ones who release books, the number of books sold or downloaded runs beyond their grandchildren. The grandchildren have signed off the death of the grandfather. There is a law in Belgium. The children and grandchildren carry the death of the grandfather. This is a very beautiful law. Waiting. Belgium is the only country that your death goes with your blood. 10 times. You have to disown your father not to pay the debt, so he's not yours. So it's such a shame that you disown your own creator. That's what it is.
Okay, there we go. So we have a question from the Chinese knowledge seekers from AirTech. Says, I've made some Alex beads with nanomaterials and GANs in order to light some LED. My question is, how can we make the beads run for a long time?
How long have you been running it for?
Wonder if Max can enlighten us there, or someone else from the Chinese folks. If there's any, oh, there's maybe a viewer. Let's pick them out. I'm not sure if we have a connection to that person. Max, I'll unmute you. Maybe you can speak there.
Hi Rick, yeah, but I'm not sure whether he's online now. So just collect the question.
Okay, maybe we can go on to the next question then.
Yes, please go to the next question.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we have another question from Yuoxin2235. We have 2 ways proposed by the Chinese knowledge seekers to produce GANs. I summarized the methods with the hope that you could confirm it. 1, the first way to produce CO2 GANs. Mix the NaHCO3 solution, that's sodium carbonate, I believe. Maybe he means NaOH. Anyway, NaHCO3 solution with warm water, salt water, and nano-coated copper coils. Put them in the glass bottle and shake it. Much CO2 GANs will be produced afterwards. Okay. And
It's a very good composition, but I've never seen it that way.
and here's another one with mixing. Where's the second way?
Let's down. Go down. CO2, mix CuCl2 solution.
Okay, that's one.
Go up, go up, 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 up. There it is. There's a mixed CuCl
Yes,
solution, NaOH solution, and HCH solution, warm water. My question, can we use gas produced as shown above to make MAGRAV units and reactors? Yes, if you can produce gas, why not? If that gives you a gas, why not?
Okay, let's carry on. We have different methods to do nanocoating, such as caustic, fire, and electricity. What's the specific function of the nanomaterial made with each method? For example, if we use fire to produce the paint pan, what's the difference between the paint pan with that nano-coated by caustic? What's the reason behind it?
Is the spacing and the energy which is released according to the approximate closeness of the structure. With a fire coating, you create a different, still nano, but because you put such energy in it, you lock the position. With caustic, is a different process because now it's in the environment in balance with the rest of the material which is inside. I'll explain to you to understand. If you want to take this off for a second. When you fire coat, if this is your copper, when you nano coat, if you do with a caustic, for example, is this, and with a fire. If you do it with caustic, it's the same nano coating, but it's this. It's the spacing. Because here you nano coat in respect to the material itself and the gas which is used. Here you nano coat in respect to the energy of the copper and NaCO. What do you call it? There we are. NH. So here, the magnetic gravitational field of the sodium has a say in the spacing. Here, the argon or whatever gas you use has a say in the coating. Here, you pressurize with the gas flow. Here, you allow expansion into the environment of the water where you create caustic. It's different spacing, so it's very much even the copper. If you understood, if I can get it, if you understood the process of plasma, when you have a plasma like this, and you have another plasma like this, the plasmas, the MAGRAV positioning, if you remember, comes from field interaction, MAGRAV positioning. This position is dictated by the strength of the tube and the environment which allows it to exist. So you see, here is 3 elements, not the copper, but in the open space. The spacing is different. You get a different kind of nanomaterial structure from this and this. So your gases are different. We just saw in the very first a video of today. It tells you if I use different voltages because I create rapid reduction, you create a wine color copper oxide or copper GaNs. If you do a very slow, you allow the oxygen to interfere, you produce the green one because it takes a bigger environment. Yes, yes, very much. If you start, always say, I don't nanocode the way you lot do. You are in such a fast track of creating nanomaterials. I would never dream of doing what you've done. In 10, 15 years.
Say a swear word or something there, Mr. Kesh.
What?
You said that people were in such a
Rush.
they were such a
It was coming out of my mouth like almond. Almond nanocoats like a speed of light.
either.
Hello? You can see me? You can hear me?
Back in a minute.
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. Kesh.
Ah,
I think
Rick has a problem. He got worked up with it. Can you hear me, Rick? Hello?
I think he's working through the problem.
Rick? Hello? The guys in the red circle must be running. One more infringement by the Facebook, they'll be banned from the Facebook anywhere entering. They find one more breach of their work, they'll be stopped. Facebook has got the track of what they're doing. The IP and the name from that location will be banned. They're looking for infringement. Hello?
Yeah, we can still hear you, Mr. Kesh.
Hello? Is Rick back?
Still waiting for Rick to come back.
Has he lost his internet?
No, he's still there. I just think he's having sound issues with the mixer.
Has he unplugged himself? Are we on the Zoom or are we on the live stream?
We're on YouTube, and I think live stream is still going, but I think he's working on audio issues there.
No. Are we?
Okay.
Hello, Rick.
He's getting sound through it, so I can hear myself for a moment there talking on the live stream. So everything's going through. So I think you can continue on, and when he's able to talk, he can come back.
But we don't know the questions.
Just let people know. Just let people know.
We can hear you now, Rick. Can you hear us?
Glitch here, and we should be back shortly.
Are you back, Rick? Hello?
No, I don't think he can hear us, but it is going through.
Huh? They work in the background. They have their own channels. They read things we can't read. Hello, Rick. We've invested over nearly 20,000 euro in registering names. It's all came because
Hi, Vince. I didn't have my headphone plugged in, so I might have missed something you said there.
Can you
Yeah,
hear us
we're
now, Rick?
waiting for you.
Can you hear us now, Rick?
Sorry about that. I missed that whole thing. I thought we were still trying to deal with the microphone, and it was just my headphones, perhaps. Okay,
Yes.
looks like a headphone issue rather than a microphone issue.
Are
Okay.
you
Sorry
okay?
about that. Let's regroup.
We are here. We didn't go anywhere. It was just you who went away.
Let me regroup then. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Let people know on live stream that it was my glitch and not from the SSI. Sorry about that. My headphone plug had fallen out. So there we go. Okay, carry on, Mr. Kesh. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Carry on. Thank you very much. So you don't, if you want good materials like good GaNs and a good, in a way, good conductivity, take your time. Somehow it's become a habit in the people around the foundation. Nano coating has to be done in one day, or steam it and do it. Nano coating, a perfect nano coating, which you can do, it should take about 2 months. You get a perfect GaNs. You get GaNs which you can work with for years and years in a very comfortable way. When I used to produce nanomaterial and the GaNs, it used to take me at least a month. There is no hurry. You take your time. You allow, it's like a mushroom. You have to let it to grow. You can't harvest it immediately. Next question.
Okay, let's see here. Tom asks, how to detect if it's GaNs or not? For example, with the saltwater GaNs procedure, you mentioned it could be all kinds of different GaNs and some other procedures that we have different materials. How do we know if it's actually GaNs or not?
If, first of all, there are different ways. Some of the ganses don't freeze because of the separation. Some of the ganses, especially if you got a mixture GaNs, you put it in a bucket or you put it in a container, you start seeing a motion. They rotate. They create their own like vortex, a very slow motion. The motion is not like heating going up and down. The motion is flat plane motion. What happened? You two had enough? Or you changing office? Ah, okay, no problem. These are what they call escapers. They escape and they go back. Enjoy your time. Take your time in producing. Now that you had all the nanomaterials, all the ganses, everything produced, now try to enjoy it the way we saw with this gentleman. Start producing nanomaterial ganses of different quality. With time, you see it, the difference, and then you see how much energy is released by them. Next question.
I have a question from Leonard T, who asks, what if we nanocoat in a pressure container or pot?
What you mean under pressure?
Yeah, have you had any experience? Some people have reported nanocoating in a pressure cooker or that type of thing, yeah, under light pressure. So
I've never done it. I can't tell you.
there's a question: can we use propane gas instead of butane gas or a mixture?
I presume so. There is no reason why not.
Can we produce human organs by this technology to replace them?
Yes. It's already been done.
Does that tie in with what you were explaining earlier about the backbone being able to reconstruct and so on? Is that
Yes, 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 you can do that. But these things need a speciality, and this is especially people who understand all the dimensions of it.
Okay, get back to the. Just a second here, get back to that document. Okay, we have some further
Just
questions.
wait,
Okay.
please, 1 second. Oh, yes. Explain. This is, Marco is making a remark. We were talking on Sunday on the Skype or on Zoom, and I said to remind me to explain this. A lot of you are creating these like pain patches and patches for people who tried like for different diseases to alleviate pain or change the condition. Remember that if you put a patch you made, for example, to change the condition of the stomach condition, digestion, or your lung, or whatever, and then you feel good and you leave it, it will not work. You have to carry on that you teach the change to the structure. If you have a problem like in breathing, a problem like the disc which has been removed needs to be done, you cannot just put something on it and say, okay, the disc is going to develop itself. What you got to do is you have to repeat and give it the continuity of the process that if this is a patch, you put your thing on it, and it's a long term, especially like asthma or whatever. You repeat this process between 3 to 6 months. That you teach the body to be able to live with a new condition. You can't just put a patch, oh, I felt good, and then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, go back on the same problem. Or a few days later. When you see a positive result, movement in the direction, in majority of the time, you've got to carry on the process till it gets embedded in the structure of the information of the neural system of the body. So you got to carry on with 3 months, 6 months till it's done that you do not come. If you see something which is with a pain relief with a pen and it doesn't come back, that's no problem. But long-term conditions like asthma, like Alzheimer's, like discs or Parkinson, these things need between 3 to 6 months repetition continuously, mainly if you can do it between the same times. He says, the man from the Canada, he says, 1 month for every year which you had the illness. So if you had it for 60 years, you got to do it for 5 years. That's too long. That's the old fashioned. The new one is good enough. It's not a recommendation. It's according to how you feel and when it is the process. People who just get a patch and they use it, or use a pen and use it, and don't understand the working of the structure of a human body, they run into problem. And they say this is wrong with it. You don't understand it. It's what they call, always say, Indians say, Neem Hakim Khatar Jan. It means half a doctor is a recipe for death, to kill yourself, because you know half of the story. If you use these kind of technologies, understand the working of the body, where you spend 2-3 days, spend 2-3 hours, read into it, to understand it, not out of the excitement you find a solution, out of how actually it works, and then look at it as a plasmatic condition and see what plasma you can bring in to change the condition. Physical damages, like if you've been inhaling different things and you get a lung burn or a breathing problem, these are very hard to change. But emotional problems with the lung, like asthma, like shortness of breath, you get all sorts of diseases which are connected to the lung. You can literally reverse this in 3 to 6 months, but you got to do it 2-3 hours a day in teaching the body. It's a training. This is the environment I like to have because I feel good, and then in time, brain picks up and it does. You create the same thing with your spinal disc. When you have a disc, it won't happen the first day. It takes time for every cell to build on. You don't need to build the whole cell of the disc. You just build enough to take the pressure off the nerve, and that's done. But this takes time. Each cell takes at least to elevate, what they call, to take out a full illness, 3 to 6 months minimum. Otherwise, a quick shot, a quick problem. This is what I say. You can reverse cancer within the first few seconds, but you start the process. You have to carry on till it gets embedded and reverses the cells in 10 days, in 30 days, in 60 days. There is no quick fix for the long-term emotional diseases and cancers and that kind of thing. You have to keep at it. It's very interesting when we speak about this. I've read somewhere that the people who are instigating all the problems with the Belgium, with the health, are the Germans. And they say, we have to speak to the people who cause problem for cash in Belgium again. They want to speak to Mr. Delanois, but they don't know Mr. Delanois is already Delanois. He's on the investigation for attempted murder as a highest key member. So when you write to Mr. Delanois to call him, tell Mr. Delanois, Mr. Delanois, you're on an investigation by the European Court of Justice for attempted murder of Mr. Cash. You don't need to write now, but to call Mr. Delanois and tell Mr. Red Circle that what you're going to do. We watch every move of you. We help people, and we let you help yourself. Call as much as you like Mr. Delanois. Mr. Delanois is on the investigation for attempted murder. And that's why the European Court of Justice, highest court in this land. Don't make threats. You're under watch yourself. There are different ways. There are different ways to do. There are different things to do. You got to find out.
What was the question, Mr. Kish? Sorry.
Do we wrap up the pads, or do we wrap it on a towel or a tissue, and then we wrap it around the body? You have to find out what you want. What is the purpose? What you're doing. The best way, I say all the time, depends what you want to do, how you want to, change the condition. How you want to increase the change of the condition. I think you better take the microphone. Then I have to. This is Australian accent, and you have to speak into it.
When you have pathology or chronic disease, you have layers often when people are sick. So when you get rid of one, it's like an onion. There'll be something else that will come up. So you're peeling the onion.
This is the old-fashioned.
Well,
yeah, this is your way, not our way. That's the line between Australia and Cash Foundation. Some of them. The way you do it you find the underlying of these clinical businesses is a psychological. So you handle the psychological, the physicality will sort itself out. As I say, you wrap the head in a CO2, not the leg.
So
Because
then,
there are too many layers to do, but if you take the center, there are no layers to hang on to. Let me explain to you something very interesting. Maybe you see it. It's the way you look at the health now. The way you look at the health is like this. Layers and layers, you sort one, and then there is another one underneath, and there is another one underneath. Yeah? But the way you got to look, when you take the center out, there is no layers. Because the body is a plasmatic. So when you change this field, everything else changes.
so then can we look at like wrapping it up, like making a blanket, and the body takes what it needs and that's it, or making like on the bed when you're sleeping is
You
to make.
have to see what it is for. You can't make it, it's not sacrosanct. You have to understand what it came. A lot of people, you find out what they call the placebo effect, that there is nothing but just because they take a tablet. A lot of people, you do not need to do anything with, except to allow them to think that they are doing something. You can get the milk and shake it and make it, and they say this is a medicine, they drink it, but they've been drinking milk all their life. But because you said it's a medicine, they take it and they say, I improved.
Well, it's being heard, and that
I've
someone's
seen it.
taking interest in them.
I've seen that being done. So when you call, if it's a chronic, it has a psychological, majority of the time, reason behind it. You have to enhance the psychological. You have to enhance the strength of emotion. Why the body is looking for attention. What's the reason for it? That it has become layered and layered and layered. You take the leg off, the table falls.
My challenge is when I have the clients or patients is that some events have, the traumatic event has happened when they were neutral, meaning in time of conception or being conceived. And there's a traumatic event that happens there that carries on to the life where they're at right now.
They remember that far.
I know they don't remember that far, but it's in there. It's in their DNA or their actions. So when I take my constitution of a patient, is I take them from where they are now, all the way to conceived or conception. So we go through it, the whole history.
You have to explain this scientifically. I know what you're talking about, and I'm not pulling your leg, but you got to understand, explain in a normal manner that it can be understood. When I ask you a question very rapidly, you think they remember from the time of conception?
No,
But do they?
Unconsciously, yes.
No, not unconsciously. Consciously, they do. Yes, they do. Consciously, let me explain. This is the misassumption in a lot of understanding. Voice is a kind of energy. Voice is a kind of plasma. You're pregnant with a child, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever, and you continuously create anger in the house or whatever. Who absorbs the voice? Who absorbs the energy? Who absorbs the energy of the emotion of the mother? The child. It doesn't need to be. This is a misconception. Children are from the time of inception. It's in the writing of Baha'u'llah. He says, pray for your children 20 years before their birth. It means that you are calm and equal, that when you give birth, the child is at peace, that you are at peace with yourself. So when you have a condition of continuous attack and the mother is always in contraction, who gets it? The child. He feels it. Who feels the voice? Why do the children, when they wake up, when they're alive, when they get born, are in love with the dad? They don't hear the mother. The mother is too far. But a lot of fathers talk to the children when they're in the womb of the mother. They know
the
the
fetus
voice.
absorbs absolutely every
Yeah,
experience.
but they absorb the emotion. They absorb the feeling. I spent a lot of time when my wife was pregnant to speak to my child. I do tell them I love you. I'm there. They know when they're born, you're not a strange voice. If they can hear that voice, they already carry the emotion. So, yes, we remember from the moment of inception, we know everything because we carry the emotion part first. So, you have to. You carry, and then you can go back and find out what is the point of the problem. Is it emotional? A lot of life. A lot of people look at life from the second you appear from the womb of the mother. But in fact, they don't understand the problem part of the life started 72 hours before birth. When you start getting ready with all the pressures and everything else, it's like putting you through a mincing machine. Would you like to go through a mincing machine? I squeeze your arm, you remember. We just took a dog to the doctor, to the vet, and he says why he doesn't like his paw to be touched. Because when it was the first couple of weeks of his life, apparently a door has touched his leg and he remembers the pain. And then you want a human being not to remember this painful process. We all remember all of it, but we choose to blank it out because it was one-off, it's finished. This is what I always say to everyone. Let people do the harm to themselves, then they can't blame you for it because they were going to do it anyway. You're going to be born anyway. You're going to go through the pain. So I decide not to remember that few hours, but I'm born, I'm here now, I succeeded. We remember everything. Structurally, emotionally, we remember everything which has happened to us and will ever happen to us. So then you can change it, you can affect it, you can direct it to where you want to do. If you understand the work of the plasma, you understand that life is in totality. Next question from the Chinese. Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's fantastic. I can't believe. How come I can't go down? Maximize. Or did I maximize now too much? Yeah, but look, we've gone so big. It's okay. Can we use magnets or radioactive materials to replace the gas balls of microwave energy unit in order to strengthen the field? Yes, no. Or no, yes.
That was a little elusive.
Yeah, when you use radioactive materials, when you use magnets, you limit the strength of the plasma to the matter state of the plasma. You can release a lot of energy, but it'll be at the matter level, not at the plasma level. So it's better not to use, because it's literally hitting what do you call it, a giant with this little, what do you call it, corn bits. It's too big. It doesn't make much difference. You got to radiate at it a long time. In the old radioactive, what do you call it, space reactors, we use radioactive material, mainly alpha. We didn't use anything else, and we tested the effect of the radiation with magnets if we can play with plasma, and it does work. We've seen it I've shown it. I've made sets of these powerful magnets in the casing, and I've shown it how you can turn things we done before in the Sensana. Mark was shaking his head because he's seen. We still have the units here, the white. We can produce. I used to use with the alpha radiation. I've built a system which is a specific way to rotate magnetical or gravitational. Then you can dictate if you want to centralize it or you want to take it out, and you can create rotation of the field. But it takes a lot of hard work. Yes, it can be done. How can we interact with the plasma or field of a magnetic energy unit in order to accelerate the flow of the field? Simple. Create a weaker in front of the stronger field, and it tries to feed. Let me explain something. Maybe. Can we get this shortened? Can we get rid of this for a minute? Okay, how do we get rid of that? Where? Here? Make the full screen.
Just take the minimize the minus sign there.
Well, there is no minimizing. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe Marco can do it. Yeah, I went too big. Let's see if we can go. Your mouse is somewhere here. There. Yes, thank you very much. Now, what did we want to do? This is, you share the screen. Here, no. I'm seeing your front page. I went too big. Yes, we need a small board. This is there. Close this one. You have a full screen. What about if I touch this? Yes. I'm getting good at it.
Very good.
What I was trying to explain. Yeah. What you got to remember, going back to the question. Let's go back to the, can we have the question that you understand this? Can you put the question back on?
Okay, just a second. Okay, there we go.
Here, it says, how can we interact with the plasma or fields of magnetic energy unit in order to accelerate the flow of fields? The only interaction, you can take it down now. The only field of interaction comes from higher order to the lower order. If it's the spectrum, the interaction comes when you place a weaker in respect to the stronger, and you keep it the proximity right, then what you'll see is you decide by moving, and if I put the green here, how faster or stronger you want the field to be. If you move into that direction, you deal with a stronger field, so the faster speed. You go further down and you see what happens. But here you get a higher acceleration. Here you create a wind of plasma. Here you create a strength. If you make intermediaries, you create a pull with a higher speed, with a higher strength. You saw it in the containers. Mix of the GaNs, 1 copper, 1 CO2. If you've seen how the field flows and it comes down, is the proximity. But if you could solidify this and put something lighter, the distance will give you speed, but faster flow. It's opposite to the matter state. You want a higher acceleration, you choose a further distance, but maybe the same distance, but lower energy. If you want to achieve a higher power, you go to a higher strength, closer, that you can match. In a way, you create a flow at this level, not at this level. It's you got to get used to understanding of the power of the plasma and the working of the plasma being different than the matter state. Next question.
There's a question from Leonard about the effect of hooking up an electrical signal to the health pen to sort of charge it, I think is the idea. Is that something
Please do not do. Please do not do. I advise you strongly not to do, because then you can run into problem unless you know what you're doing. Do not use any of these systems near where you have a heart valve or a pacemaker or whatever, unless you know what you're doing. Because in some cases, if you use it, you can endanger the life. In some cases, when it's done with the supervision of the physician, you can overcome the problem. We have seen people with severe heart problems doing certain things through the GANs and through the nanomaterials, and a lifetime of pain of heart problems and heartbeats have disappeared. We've seen cases which is exacerbated and it got worse. You have to understand, your physician has a lot of doctors have started working around the Keshe Foundation, understand how they can manipulate the plasma, and they can help you. If you have a problem, and you go to a doctor, before you do it, before you put a pulse on it, ask the doctor, do you know anything about the Keshe Foundation? Do you know about the work of the plasma? If most of them or some of them do, tell them to read, and then go back and say, can you help me using this technology for my purpose? And you find a lot of them can help you. We have a number of physicians here in Europe, in Belgium, in Italy, and even in China, who understand this technology very well, and they can help you with it. But don't go and put a pulse on it just because you want to do with it. You'll find out you have a problem with it. I was just talking to our people who are doing the research on the CO2. They use the CO2 on the plants. This is what the test is going on. And we've seen totally opposite to what we were expecting in one direction or the other. Because we have to understand what's the wish of the plants, not what we wanted to give it to it. Be very careful when you do these things. Extremely careful. Do not touch if you don't understand. Next question.
Yuma asks, is there any list of emotional side organs and physical organs in the human body so we can approach them with different GANs patches?
Yes, but you have to understand it and understood it fully before you do such a thing. I was looking at it written by somebody who understands these things yesterday. Which organ is for what? Emotion is connected to this, fear is connected to that, and the rest of it. But you have to understand how you do it, what it does, how it's created, and why it's created. There are, in some scientific work, that they indicate these things, these organs are connected to such a behavior or such an emotion. But in fact, all your body is affected by all the emotions, but some are better to show it.
Speaking of emotions, we have a question that from David, who says, we understand the manifestation of matter and life, but where does consciousness come from or in? The divine will or God? I'd like to hear Mr. Kesh's opinions.
You should have been in the teaching this morning. We just taught it this morning.
You can sign up at the Spaceship Institute website, I believe, for the January teaching.
Yeah, by the time you get to it, it'll be at the end of second year by the look of it. It's understanding that emotion, in a simple way, Abada explained in the teaching of this morning, is that emotion, feeling, pain, intelligence, whatever you want to call it in different names, they're all gravitational magnetic field based. But it depends on which part or which section of the brain is accommodated for the motion of the field. As I explained this morning in the teaching.
Could you maybe show us a bit on the board there, Mr. Kesh? Or
yes,
trying to take a break, trying to take a break from running back and forth there. Okay, thank you.
But we switched everything off. Ah, there he is, you're right. No wonder he's a teaching master. Hey! There we are. This is what we were teaching this morning. If you take every part of the man you're thinking, your body, your soul, or whatever, these green fields are the interaction between these parts. You call these fields, let's say, pain, consciousness, understanding, intelligence, but each one of them in the body of the man, what we were explaining today in the teaching, is that like you have a kidneys and you know where the place of the kidneys are because of the interaction of the plasma field flow. The same is with your brain. In each part of your brain, the interaction between different parts in the communication line creates what you call emotion, understanding, intelligence, and the rest. So they're all plasmatic magnetic field based. They don't come from somewhere. If you can think, I ask you a simple question if you want to understand it. Can you send a message on a mobile phone from here to, let's say, your brother or your sister in another town or in another house next door if there is no energy in the battery? No. It's the same with consciousness, with intelligence, emotion. These are creation of the motion of the plasma within the structure of the brain of the man. And each one of them, due to the strength, have a specific position in the brain, because that's where this strength gathers and is generated. It's like your kidney has a specific strength. Your liver has a specific strength. That's where all the kidney cells or liver cells are gathered. And all the information about storage goes to that place. It's the same with your consciousness, your emotions, your intelligence. There are parts within the structure of the brain where in communication they are created and they work in that strength in a specific part of the brain. So everything from your thoughts to your emotion is a plasma motion, gravitational magnetic field. So it cannot be anything other than that. So everything is and will be understood when you understand that everything is dependent on the motion of the gravitational magnetic field. Is the strength of it which changes name by man. One become emotion, one become intelligence, one become whatever you want to call it. Next question.
Back to the practical. Do we need to have GANs on the outer coil of the capacitor?
Other coil of the capacitor? Not really, no. Because you're touching it. No. You don't need it. You can put it on, but it'll be different. There is a way, maybe this is what you got to remember, how you strengthen your capacitors.
Okay. Are there any future generators that can run on the three-phase system of the grid?
Yes. We're working on it.
Okay.
You'll all be shocked on Thursday when we teach you how to use your power reactors. There'll be a lot of shooting yourself in the intelligence, as I call it. Mark is looking at me, but it will be very interesting to see how you all have been having a working reactor. If you would have listened to us, you would have achieved your need, depending on the supply of the way your supply in your nation is set. We'll go more into detail.
Perhaps we give the Chinese another couple of questions here.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to open up the window.
So their next question is, we have star formation reactors and the MAGRAV energy unit now. How can we make them interact with each other? For example, how can we use the MAGRAV energy system to strengthen the star formation reactors?
You see in these movies, it says, watch the future episode or the next episode. I'm going to add here, watch Thursday teaching.
Yeah, it's a lot
The
like the
knowledge-
Batman suit.
The knowledge seekers Thursday will teach you a lot. You will learn a lot. It's a good day to wrap, and then it's a good day for us to say goodbye for this term. More or less Friday morning it'll be wrapping up job, and we finish for nearly 5 weeks, 6 weeks for the holidays. Well, I don't go on the holidays. We just shut down the teaching, but there's a lot to be done in the background for the people who work in administration.
But we will continue the Thursday knowledge seekers
Yes,
workshops.
yes. Thursday knowledge workshops
As
will
usual.
carry on as usual. If I don't want to do it, Rick will carry on. Just, we're going to have it tomorrow. I'm bored. I've been sitting for 1 week doing that.
It's just sheer habit at this point.
Fear, what do you call it, frustration of doing nothing.
Oh no, I always look forward to the Thursday workshops. It's special.
He's the voice of workshops. What's the difference between the magnetic gravitational field and common magnetic field that can be detected by spectrometer? You want to stay in the matter state, measure it by Tesla. Otherwise, magnetical gravitational field is the same thing, but you have to do the reverse of what Tesla has done. If you understand what I mean. Tesla measured magnetical repulsion. He could never measure gravitational because it's much stronger, and he couldn't develop a technology to do it, to measure it. He's measured literally one-way traffic going out. He's never measured coming back because it's too powerful. He never had the systems. And a lot of you will build the system that you will observe the flow of the plasma, the strength of the plasma, the way we saw in the box. Visualization will give you another measurement. In the coming time, everything you do by a sense of sensing what it is. Measurement and the tools and meters. Nobody has seen any meters on the Earth, in the space. I don't think you'll ever see it in the space anyway. Because There is no measure. You understand, you feel which strength you are going by. Okay. Whether the maggrav energy unit will create the plasma environment similar to the star formation reactor, would it be possible to generate tangents or some with a maggrav energy unit? Much more. If you know how to use the plasma units, you will learn in the future 129 Tesla is a child's play. I have already taught you how to do it. It means you haven't understood yet. Question about the second electricity meter. As you said in the workshop, if you put an electricity meter between the nanocoils and the load, it will obstruct the transmission of power from the unit to the load. What is the reason? You will understand on Thursday. Because it's useless. It does nothing but interrupting the flow. If nanocoating the pumpkin coil, what is this one? Has you ever heard this one? Rick, help.
They're talking about the Rodin coil, which is kind of a toroid, a donut-shaped coil. If you take a donut and wrap wires around it.
Okay.
That coil.
Now I understand what this means, Rodin. Okay. Pumpkin coil. But we call it tokamak coil. It's
similar, yeah.
Yeah. Whether it can become a powerful energy device, because I feel the pumpkin coil is very much like a plasma magnetic field. I've seen this, but you have not got the condition which you need, the separation to create the condition of the flow. You've got to understand why we create the separation. Otherwise, you can just put the big lump of material. The separation in the layers, in the stacking, creates the flow. You got to realize a lot of you look at this as a stacking unit. If I can just get rid of this one. Just 1 second, I'm coming. Just gonna show you something, just wait. You see, you connect. I've seen somebody
share here.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this down that you can see easier. I've seen somebody opening one of these units on the internet to show us exactly what we showed. So thank you very much. We thought there are some people so clever they might do it, so we thought it. Sorry to disappoint you. You're stealing. It didn't work. Everybody knows exactly what it is. So if you look at your box, is this. The way you are looking is that you connect your system from one plate to another to another. That's where you're getting the energy. This is exactly where you're wrong. The energy comes from the transfer of this to this. Most of your energy comes from, in a way, if you look at it even in the coil, single coil, here you have a double, you have double. Most of the energy transfer comes from the magnetical of outside with the gravitational of inside of this one. And then at the same time is with the lower level, to the higher level. This, if you look, is the stacker unit that the guy showed us. The energy ends up on the top. That's how you release it. I'm going to show you a very special way of using the, what do you call it, these power units. We gave you an indication, but you didn't see it. Now we show it to you on Thursday, totally in a different way. As long as you keep it in the plasma state, you will have a wonderful time, and it's a new eye into the life of the creation. You will learn how to feed yourself how to cure yourself, how to remedy all your illnesses and do whatever you like. And all of it literally is already in front of you, but you're blind to see. I told you, this is the way I've always thought. I put it so much in front of you that you don't see it, you go blind with it. And the greed of the man always works. If a red circle has a lot of value, which is nothing, can you imagine what a real circle will look like? It gives you a lot of energy. It's so much that you will not know what to do with it, but you have to understand how to use it and the way to use it. It's nearly 5 o'clock. You want to put a couple of more questions and then we call it a day?
Okay, that was the last of the Chinese questions that were on that list.
Any other question and then we call it a day?
Well, there was the age-old question of will you release, when will you release the blueprints for the generators that work?
Wait 1 second, we got a problem here.
Okay.
We solved the problem. Can you repeat the question?
It's just about when will you release the blueprints for the generators that work completely off the grid? But I just recommended that they wait until the Thursday workshop to
in a way, I can give it to you today, but we've left it with the innovation to see what they come up with. I don't go out to build system. I work the way even with the innovation group, with the Brennan's group in Philippines, and the new group which is going to join us from Hungary, is I do not tell this is how it's going to be done, that they just copy. I guide that they inspire, that they can find solutions for the other things. Otherwise you become blueprint, I tell you do this and do that, and it's done. And this is not the purpose. If I wanted to do this, I would have done it years ago and would have made a lot of money out of it. I didn't need anybody to tell me what to do. But the purpose is to inspire, to teach. And then I can tell you actually, to make a generator, if you listen in the past 2 or 3 teaching, I already showed you how to make the generator without the need for a power supply. But you're so greedy that you don't see. I've become a very good magician. You see everything, but you know in which hand. But it's there right in front of you. We don't hide it. I have shown, I pretend, Renan can tell you, we spend sometime an hour, half an hour, 2 hours, sometime a day, every couple of days, discussing the innovation, what we're going to do, what's going to be done. I never give them a solution. I never tell them do this. I always suggest. And in suggesting, they get inspired to look into another dimension of something else. Otherwise, it's become, this is it, I say this and it's going to be done. We never learn anything. All of you have seen in front of you, you can make this power generator tomorrow morning. Or tonight, before you go to sleep. And actually, some of you already have it all in the house, and you've done it, but you don't know what to do with it. You all, especially if you have watched the past 2 or 3 workshops, you already had the power generator. But you're so busy that you forgot about it. I know tonight I can tell Renan what to do tomorrow morning. By Thursday morning, you have your power generator. But it doesn't serve any purpose, because then they don't look for openness of knowledge to see so boring. I can give you the knowledge of the universe, but unfortunately, as I said, every man takes it according to their intelligence. But the greed has blinded the man's intelligence. That's the biggest problem with this position. You're so greedy that you don't see the knowledge in front of And I bring it so openly, and I enjoy bringing it so openly, but nobody sees it. Oh my God, it's impossible. Am I correct, Marco? Maybe. Possible. I put it so much. Any of you, this test, this development is detachment from physicality. If you're detached, you will see it. But you all have this attachment of what we heard. The guy goes out of his way. I've never met him, trying to protect me for others not to call me a fraud, where all you need to tell a guy, you're a murderer. You murder a child, you attempt to murder a child, and you get the police force behind you to murder a child. And then you understand there is no. They can wipe out anything they like. They can do anything they like. They can make any threat. Use your intelligence. Everything is in front of you. You don't need to be a genius. If you understood this, you've done the job. It's so in front of you. We can deliver energy unit now. I can show you how you can have a power generator now. What are you going to do? Jump a bunch of monkeys copying the same thing, but you don't understand. What is a power generator? You generate power when you move plasma from one position to another in the strength of it. So, how much have you seen being generated? But you still want to have a little bit crumbs. I'll give you the crumbs till you find out the cake was sitting in front of you. There is enough. On Thursday, we show you there is so much that I have 5 weeks to go away for you lot to do something that you'll see by the time we come back in December, what they call in January. Andrea is thinking, what have I missed this time? What did I see? And Marco is just scratching his head, says, my God, what shall I tell them? No. You can, and you have been given enough knowledge. All of you. Today, if you made the coil and you done it, you should have been able by now extracted enough energy according to the demand supply of your government. Do not forget, we don't give you the energy. We give you a power unit. It has a power to deliver to reduce your energy consumption by 2 kilowatts. But depends what you feed it. And then you understand how you feed it. And then you all have had a full power supply generator with you from day one. If I tell the Innovation Center how they can produce energy tomorrow morning, they'll have a power generator in front of you, displayed from Philippines by Thursday morning, 9 o'clock. Say, oh, you see now, it's got a power generator, it doesn't give it to anybody. But what does it serve? You don't add to no intelligence. Monkey see, monkey does.
Everyone focuses on the generator, but I see that the generator is also connected to the soul, how you can evolve the soul on a rapid pace.
Yes, you've been sitting in the teaching of this morning. Of course you can, if you understood it. Soul is a plasma which can always receive. So in receiving, it elevates and increases its own energy. So how do you want to do it depends on you. Every single one of you, anybody who's made even a single coil setting, not a triple, today can benefit by it by tonight. But follow the procedure we put as conditioning, because there was a reason we put the conditioning. Because in conditioning, you stop a lot of damages, a lot of problem between the matter and the plasma. It wasn't done for the sake of just doing it because we want to tell you. Because there is an interface between the plasma and the matter state. And it's too big. You have to accommodate something in between. And that's what we call conditioning. The small layers, even you don't see it on your copper wires, nano coating will help you a lot to preserve your matter state systems. And in time, in 6 months, 12 months time, when it's totally done, you can literally throw the unit away in the bin because the system will support its own production. Because in the house, you create enough environment exactly as here. But you lot don't see, that's your problem, not mine. You create nano-coated materials in the plasmatic condition around the house. This was a bucket of water we sold. Now it's your home. These are the wires going across the house. One nano layer, one little bit, something else. You create a flow of the plasma in the house. You don't need a power supply. Because now everything works on a plasma condition. This is what I explained to you. Wireless power supplies is in your reach. And you will think, oh, is this possible? Bucket of water, the gentleman has already showed it. In 12 months, I have to say, I'm not sorry to give you a system as a blue box, but if you follow the way we said, if you follow the way it's on the blueprint to bring you to the conditioning, a lot of people wrote, he's a fraud, his system doesn't work. The guy has put an 11-watt system and he gets 11 out and he says, what is the instruction? We told you what to do. So if you're an idiot, you stay idiot. That's your problem. Because this is a conditioning, not usage. It's not understanding the word. Conditioning means preparing the system to be used. So if you understand, you start the conditioning, your systems will actually, somebody wrote to me, do you know something, Mr. Cash? The pedophiles and the gays, the pedophiles and abusers have found a field way with your conditioning, which means they were looking for something to confirm their existence, and they're running with it. He's a fraud, he's a thief, he's done nothing, but they don't understand English. Means conditioning means you got to prepare. You condition your hair that it stays good. So lack of understanding is your problem. But if you understood and you have conditioned your system, in 12 months' time, when you start using the system around the house, one wire is slightly thicker than the other one, it's a slightly angled different position. You start creating a flow between the wiring of the house, and in cases, even if you live in concrete houses, your concrete structure will get nano-coated because somewhere you have touched in your current production with a pen or whatever, you will live in a house with a zero cost because the flow of the fields in the house will create enough fields for you to be able to live in a free condition. Plasma rotation at the level which you want. Because when you conditioned it, you preset the strength of the electron gravitational magnetic field into the plasma. That's what the conditioning is. When you condition your system, you preset a condition level, which means the equipment in this house, you want to use a plasma of a strength of electron vibration, what you call electric current. That's what it is, nothing else. Because the rest of it, you can use for food or whatever else you need. But those who don't understand, still stay ignorant to it. But in reality, the one who uses 11 watts and expects to get 11 watts out, it means the guy hasn't got a clue about anything else, a thief working with the thieves. The purpose is to follow the condition. If it's a if you have followed the conditioning on Friday, on Thursday, we show you how you've been using electricity without you knowing, and you've been producing electricity without you knowing. But that electricity has been gone into the conditioning on the plasma. We need it. You have to have it. Otherwise, you will not be able to use the system. And I'm sure in 12 months, 18 months time, there'll be a lot of second-hand maggraph systems in the market because people have already using it. They don't need it. They put it up for sale. We are opening a Cash Foundation second-hand maggraph system. It's a good business. Huh? Sell a monkey, get it back, and they still sell a monkey again because it lasts for thousands of years.
I can see that now.
Yep. What, the monkey or the second-hand system?
Well, it's them showing up in the secondhand stores and so on, the mag grab units, or people passing them on to their neighbors because they don't need them anymore because their house is totally working on its own.
Yeah, what it's going to do, because we've seen it, even people in Brazil have reported it. They took the system out after a few months to the sister's house or brother's house, and they're still working. And they said, oh, is the field going across to the one? Yes, but in the way you already created a flow in the house, and it works. Okay, it's 5 o'clock.
Yep, we've.
Before we finish, Vince Rick, the first gentleman who showed us the system with his condition with his neck, please put him in touch with me. And please, if you listen who you are, we know most probably you've seen it, contact the foundation directly, supply us with your bank details. We make sure by tomorrow lunchtime the money is in your account. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. That was very generous. That was for Douglas. Thank you. Okay. That wraps it up for today, for Tuesday, December 8th, 2015. This was the first International Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and we went a little over time into the health teaching workshop, but it's all part of the same thing. So thank you, everybody, for attending.